afternoon. Today is Tuesday, September 7th, 2022, and we're here for a scheduled town board meeting, and I hope everyone had a pleasant holiday weekend, and as always, we're gonna begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, and can you please take the lead?
Sure, thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ken, and Frank, do we have someone from our faith community with us
We
today?
have one of our favorites,
Yes.
certainly one of my favorites, but a favorite of most of the town of Riverhead, if not all. Reverend Mary Cooper of the House of Praise Christian Revival Center is with us, and as always, we are so glad to have you here today. Thank you for coming.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Supervisor. How are you?
We're doing good.
Good to see you.
Okay.
Okay, if you don't mind, I ask you to stand. As we bow our heads in prayer, Lord God, you have given us this land and this great community for our heritage. And we thank you, O God, for hovering over us to protect us from hurt, harm, and great danger. We ask that you would endue or to provide our administrators and all in authority with the spirit of wisdom, justice, and that the citizens and visitors will be united and peaceful and respectful of one another. That all petitions will be heard and honored, which will benefit this community. We ask, oh God, that you would bless each family represented here today with peace, your health, and strength. We thank you again for this beautiful day that you have made for us to rejoice and to be exceedingly glad. And we thank you and we give you all the praise, the glory, and the honor. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Reverend. Okay, we have two announcements today. First, this Saturday is September 11th, and all are invited to attend the memorial walk ceremony at Lee's Park at 6 p.m. Those interested in walking in the procession may meet at 5:45 at the corner of Park Road and Marine Street in Beatty Hollow. A candlelight procession will end at Reeves Park, just 2 blocks away, after which there'll be a short program of approximately 45 minutes, and the entire community is invited. And I'm glad to say that this year, the Israeli Temple is joining us. They reached out to us to try to participate, and we connected them together, so they're going to be part of the ceremonies. And next, following yet another productive meeting between the town board and Riverhead and the Suffolk County Water Authority yesterday, myself, Anne Marie Prudenti, and Frank Mancini, is he here? And Dawn Thomas. We met with the, through Zoom, through the Suffolk County Water Authority. I briefed the board soon after that meeting, and it looked like we had made some great progress. I just got off the phone less than about 10 minutes ago with the Suffolk County Water Authority, and it appears that we have reached a resolution to hook up Manorville. We'll be providing funds to them. As we get them, we're both gonna apply, and we're gonna take the resolution off the floor at the end to hopefully the board will support that. The board has received the resolution, and hopefully it'll get voted in. This started, and I actually have the resolution here, back in 2020, when after 20 years, the water district was not well served due to possible PFAS and PFOA, and there was tons of studies and RABS meeting and a lot of meetings, and I know Rathwell was part of the water meetings that we had, and we moved on. And so the MAPA plan got adopted in 2020. That was the first initiative to start this process. And hopefully the board will today vote for it, and we're gonna move forward in a positive sense. You have an announcement? Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
I just want to ask the citizens, when you're having a tag sale and you have leftover clothing or anything left over, that you bring it to the Salvation Army. They could really use it, and notify them
when you're having a tag sale, and maybe they can stop by and pick up what you don't sell. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? We're good? Okay, moving forward, can I have a first and a second to approve the minutes of the town board meeting for, actually, there's two meetings, for August 2nd and August 16th, 2022.
So moved.
Vote, please.
Second.
Second.
Okay. Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguilar.
Yes.
The minutes are approved.
And Diane, can you please read the communications and any figures that you may have?
Certainly.
Thank you.
Under reports, the police department submitted their July 2022 report. The building department submitted their July monthly report. That was $80,460. Tax receivers submitted their July utility collection report, $413,297.59. Town clerk submitted July monthly report, and that was $14,918.46. Under correspondence, I had 5 letters from Julie Hargrave, one on open space minimums, one on North Point, and then support and preserve agricultural land, Riverhead Logistics, North Point. Thank you. And the last one, tax breaks for other developers and residents. Bernadetta Frohan submitted a letter with comments on proposed industrial type projects. Chris Kent with Farrell Fritz submitted a letter with comments on battery energy storage systems. Dominic DiMaiolo sent a letter of support for the Peconic Hockey Ice Rink. John McCullough sent 2 letters. One of them were for agrivoltaics and the other regarding 555 American Dream Mall. There was a petition with many signatures regarding Stotsky Park South soccer field in support of keeping the field there. Sarah Zito sent a letter of support for a moratorium on development. Stephen Lasquadro sent 2 letters with comments on battery energy storage system. Thomas McSwain, sent a letter of opposition to the Peconic Hockey Ice Rink. And that is all I have.
Okay, thank you, Diane, and I think now we're gonna begin the we have 2 public hearings today. The first public hearing was scheduled at 2 o'clock. It is now 2:12. And we're opening up a public hearing for the consideration of a blighted property located at 330 Bayview Drive in Calverton, New York. And Eric Howard is our town attorney. Can you please brief us on this subject?
Okay, so this is going to work like a quasi-judicial proceeding. Essentially, what's going to happen is our deputy town attorney, Danielle Hurley, is going to perform direct examination with our town investigator, Rich Downs, who established the violations. She's going to draw out testimony that we believe supports a finding that the property is blighted. I believe Rich also has some pictures that are going to be shown. And then we would ask anybody in attendance today if they wanted to get up and articulate any personal observations that they have of this property, which would support the finding that the property is blighted, or if there's anybody who is here to oppose the finding that it's blighted, they would have an opportunity to come up and speak as well. Whatever is drawn out in the course of this public hearing today will be for the town board to consider. There will be a resolution at a subsequent meeting, either finding the property blighted or not finding it blighted, to close the proceeding.
Okay. So, Richie, where is he? Mr. Downs? Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay, go ahead.
So today is the public hearing regarding 330 Baywood Drive, Calverton, New York. Senior Town Investigator Richard Downs with us today. What is your current position with the Town of Riverhead?
Senior Town Investigator with the Town of Riverhead.
And how long have you been employed by the town?
Going on my 23rd year.
That's all?
Rookie.
And what are your principal duties as Senior Town Investigator?
I'm supervising an office of 5 code enforcement officers
familiar with the property known as 330 Baywood Drive, Calverton, New York?
Yes.
And why are you familiar with it?
I've received multiple complaints with respect to the property being overgrown with weeds, just in a dilapidated state.
And to the best of your knowledge, who is the owner of this parcel?
To the best of my knowledge, the deeded owners are all deceased. They left the property due to defaulting a mortgage. I have a certified copy of the deed which lists the owners as John Campbell, Mary Lou Campbell, and Philip LaCory. Hope I didn't butcher that one. I also have a certified assignment of mortgage with the assignee being Deutsche Bank National Trust Company.
Okay. And I have with me for the town board's review, the certified copy of the deed and the certified copy of the assignment of mortgage. And has there been anybody else that you've been in communication with regarding this property?
I've been in communication only
We have
through...
one copy.
Excuse me? I've been in communication only through emails with Guardian Asset Management Company, who advised that they are the property management company for Deutsche Bank. I've also been updating our third-party mortgage in default company, which is ProChamps, who monitors violations on the properties and reports them directly to the bank and property management company.
And is this property in compliance with the mortgage and default registry that's located within our town code?
It is a registered property. It is a mortgage and default property, and as far as it being totally compliant with that section, it is not.
And what do you mean by that?
There are certain maintenance requirements that are required of properties pursuant to that law that have not been, the property basically hasn't been maintained.
Okay. And please describe the location of the subject property.
It's located in a major residential subdivision with about 50 to 60 single-family dwellings within it.
And directing your attention to July 8th, 2022, were you working that day?
Yes, I was.
And did you investigate the property situated at 330 Baywood on that day?
Yes, I did.
And to your knowledge, is anybody living there?
No, the property is completely vacant.
And how long has it been vacant for?
To my knowledge, a couple of years.
And can you describe the property itself?
It's a two-story, single-family dwelling with a semi-attached rear deck and potentially an in-ground swimming pool, which I haven't been able to get to because it's so over-vegetated.
Okay. And what did you observe during your inspection?
A property which was severely blighted and neglected.
And how did you determine that the property was blighted?
I used a point rating. It's point rating guidelines within the town code with respect to certain deficiencies that I observed to be present that day.
And do you have a copy of the checklist you used?
Yes, I do.
And is that contained in the PowerPoint?
Yes.
And
It's several pages, so. Yep.
he's getting to it.
That's the notice, and the checklist should be the last page of the document. There it is.
Did you prepare this checklist?
Yes, I did.
And is this on the screen a fair and accurate duplication of your original checklist?
Yes.
And is it regular practice in your profession to complete a checklist like this when inspecting blighted properties?
Yes.
And how many total points did you assess the subject property?
This particular property had a total point rating of 280.
And how many points are permitted under the town code before a property can be designated as blighted?
100.
And did you do anything after preparing the checklist?
Took photographs, which I prepared in this PowerPoint presentation, so it'd be easier on the board, so I didn't have thousands of pages that they had to sift through. So all the photographs I prepared in this PowerPoint presentation. I also posted the property with this blighted property notification along with the checklist.
And what did you do after preparing the blighted property notification?
I certified, mailed the property notification to Deutsche Bank and also first-class mail.
And did you prepare a notice of violation as well?
Yes, I did. I prepared a notice of violation pursuant to 251 of our town code, which is grass, weeds, and rubbish.
And were both of those documents posted to the address as well?
Yes, they were.
And you have copies of the return receipts on the PowerPoint presentation, correct?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And why did you mail to the bank?
Well, I mailed it to the bank because the owners of the property were deceased, and we had some other mailings that were returned on prior complaints at that same address.
With the property owners?
Yes.
And as a result of receiving the notifications and pursuant to the notification and the town code, what are the property owners required to do when they receive this notice?
After the notice is received, they are required to enter into what's called a restoration agreement with the town, and/or correct the violations fairly immediately.
And did the owners of this property enter into a restoration agreement?
No, they did not.
And did you prepare anything else with regard to this hearing today?
Just the pictures, the PowerPoint presentation that I have.
Okay, so
will-
at this point, we'll walk through the PowerPoint presentation. These photos were taken July 8th, is that correct?
That is correct.
And if you could just go through and describe what you're seeing.
Well, this is just a picture of, actually a tape measure of the weeds, the height of the weeds on the front yard.
And the corresponding points on the bottom.
Hold on. Oh, where's my laser pointer? Is this my advance? Okay. All right, so this is another area of the property on the side of the property that have just overgrown weeds and vegetation. This is another photo of more overgrown vegetation and weeds. This has the cobblestone driveway, it's all full of weeds. Same thing here. A little quick there. All right, so yes, too quick. All right. This is poison ivy, it's all around the entire structure. This is a basement window well. That was full of weeds and vegetation. Next. This is just the same shot, weeds. More. This area here, there's a structure in here somewhere. Looks like an old floor. This is the rear deck, severely dilapidated. I'll show you in further pictures. There are only a few cement sonotubes supporting these beams. This is a chimney, a fireplace, an outdoor fireplace, which was once, I believe, in this area over here where the in-ground pool was.
So are you saying that there's an in-ground pool located underneath those bushes?
It's hard to say. I did not walk through there because it was so heavily vegetated, but looking at some prior aerials, you can see that there was in fact an in-ground pool on this property. there is some remnants of, there's still fencing on the property, which indicates that the pool is there.
Okay.
This is the rear shot of the house, a little blurry, I apologize for that. This is, you know, the vinyl siding is, this house has not been taken care of. You can see the vinyl siding is stained in locations. This is the rear deck. Here, these railings are severely leaning and just, they wouldn't support you if you leaned on it. You'd just fall right off. This is I believe that's just a tree growing near the foundation of the basement. Some litter, garbage, more heavy vegetation. This is the basement access way. You can see this is a storm door that's completely off the hinges. All along here, it's all rotted wood, decayed, and that's probably why the storm door fell off. This is a porch railing that was missing the balusters on the front. This is the soffit area. Usually this area is covered with vinyl. It's no longer, it's not there anymore. Just garbage, rubbish. This is that area that has some sort of plywood. Maybe it was once a shed or something there, but it's just rotting wood on the ground. Same area. Another side view of the house, just vegetation, heavily vegetated. The driveway hasn't been repaired in some time. You can see there's cracking and the weeds are growing right through the driveway, the asphalt.
And did there come a date when you went back to the property after you served the notice of violation?
Yes, this was August 29th, 2022. I went back to do a re-inspection of the property. And these are the conditions. As you can see, it looks like it grown even more. So we got more vegetation. Same shots of the weeds. This is how it looks looking down from the house down the driveway. You can see all the vegetation here in the driveway. There's more cracks and the vegetation's going through. This is the front yard, believe it or not. It's full of just weeds. And I must point out this is a really, really nice neighborhood, too. It's a very nice neighborhood. This is some sort of indoor surge protector that was used at some point to power holiday lighting, which was pretty unsafe. Still there. This is a tree that's rooted probably too close to the foundation. Same tree. Next. Okay, so I can tell you that I was in communication through the emails with Guardian Asset Management Company, who is the property manager for the bank, Deutsche Bank. They have been making repairs there. This is the soffits that were non-existent, this vinyl. So they did replace this vinyl. This is just a bag of old cement that was left on the porch. You can see the porch is the chipping, peeling, painting, rotting. This is the repair they did. It's kind of hard to see here, but they put in new wood balusters and new wood. However, they failed to paint it. The balusters don't match the existing balusters. Here it is again. This is what they did. I'm glad that they did it, but however, this needs to be painted to protect the wood surfaces. The balusters should have matched, but it seems like sort of a Band-Aid on a gaping wound. So, this is the basement stairway again. You can see right here, I noticed on this inspection, this was, I took a picture of it, actually noticed on the first inspection, but there's something that burrowed in under the stairs. vegetation again. Property's still vegetated. Hasn't been mowed. Here's that hole. This is the front porch. It looks like something burned here and burned through the front porch. It's not safe. This is right near the front door. This is the repair work they did on the deck, okay? They say a picture speaks 1,000 words, but, I mean, if you really were there, you could just see it wasn't done in a workmanlike manner, and that is required in New York State Code, that any repairs that are done to structures be done in a workmanlike manner and consistent with the residential building code. And these repairs were not done consistent with the residential building code.
And is the structure of the home itself safe?
I don't see any imminent danger on the structure itself, as far as just really just aesthetics and blight and lack of maintenance. This is what happens. And these are the railings that they put up here. Now, I had a video of this, but we couldn't load it into the presentation. These railings right here, if you just put a little bit of pressure on them, they will move freely, just like this, totally freely. So this structure right here, this deck is completely unsafe. Not only that it's not sitting on the cement, the proper cement sonotubes, the supports, beams are rotted, the railings are no good, and that's what you get with lack of maintenance. Here's the beams that you can see are leaning. This one's leaning, this one's... This is just showing that there are no cement pilings under there. It's kind of hard to see the picture, but I kind of scraped away with my foot. Basement, window wells just completely filled with dirt and debris. Is that fireplace again? This is the area where I think the in-ground pool is. This is an aerial of the property in 2010, and here's the pool. So that shot was looking this way, but now it's full of vegetation all here. Some more grass and weeds. We can go. Grass, weeds. This is that wood structure still there. Now I can say that I have been in email with Guardian Asset Management Company. I don't know if there's a representative here today. They were in receipt of all these notifications, and I have been in communication with them, and they have told me that they were going to fix these things. They've been advised. However, you know, every time I go back, it's still the same way. They did take down, there was a shed that was falling in on itself. They did take it down, but they left the wood flooring, which is all rotted out. And they left the remnants of the roof all on the ground. Here's the shingles. This is the looking east in the rear property into where the pool was once. Just heavy vegetation in the landscaped areas. The driveway again. And this is the front of the house. So just to get an idea of what it looks like from an overall perspective. All right. So, driveway again. This is that railing that you can freely move.
Have you ever been inside the home?
I have not, but one of my complainants, and I think he's here today, will attest what the inside looks like, because he's actually been inside the house.
And who has I'm assuming there's a lock on the door, is that correct?
There is a Realtor lock on the door. It's one of those locks that have a key inside it with a combination. And I think that the property management company or the people that have been coming there to do the maintenance have that key, have the code to get in.
Okay. And these photos now up were taken today?
Let's say, yep, these photos were taken today. So just preparation for the hearing today, just to see if anything was done. You can see this is pretty much the same conditions. We can flip through these fairly quick. I don't want to bore the board too much. We got more weeds. Same conditions. Still have the wiring. These were once landscaped areas, completely over-vegetated with weeds. Front of the house, these are the postings. There's one here and there's one right there. Now, when they did the repairs here, this company, whoever did the work, just took the old railing and threw it on the front yard. Now, if that is an insult to injury, I don't know what is, but there you go. Here we go with the postings. This is the blighted notice. This is the 251 notice. This is an old posting done by one of my officers in May. He was there for a 251 code notice, which is weeds, refuse, and rubbish. This is the foundation area around the house. Rear deck. Rear deck. Rear deck. Fireplace. That's it.
Okay, thank you. And lastly, what is your recommendation today for the town board with regard to this property?
Based on the repair work and the maintenance that I've been seeing here, I would suggest, and it's my recommendation, that the town enter onto the property and the town board authorize the town to remediate this the right way in accordance with the residential building code, or clean up the property so that these neighbors that live next to this don't have to endure this blighted condition anymore. I also suggest that the town board recommend the blighted property assessment fees, which in this case I think is $2,500 for residential properties.
And the cost of the fixing of the violations would be a lien against the property as well, is that right?
Yes, absolutely, yes. That's part and parcel in the code.
Thank you for your time today.
You're welcome.
Okay, do we have anyone from the public?
Town board members have some questions for Officer Downs?
Go ahead.
The town has been there in the past to mow the lawn, has it not?
The town has not been there. After the first posting by one of my officers, Officer Soto, in May, there was some response from the Guardian Asset Management Company, who did go there and mow the lawn. It's just how they mowed it, it wasn't in conformance with what we normally see, in a mow job. They mowed it, but it wasn't really done correct. They left the clippings everywhere. It was just, the curbing was completely still vegetated with weeds. In and around the house was completely vegetated, so.
Rich, how do we make sure, when they're doing work on that property, I would just want to know that if there is in fact a pool down there, that it is secured or properly fenced in, so that in terms of the liability, once we're on that property, I think we're responsible to make sure that pool is secure.
Oh, absolutely, and that was one of my main concerns when I heard that there was a pool there. Actually, one of my complainants brought it to my attention. When I was first there, I really didn't realize it was there until, because you can't see it based on the pictures, you can't see it, but, it might have been demolished in some sense, but there's no way of telling.
Or filled in?
Well, the property goes down, but, it could have been filled in, they could have removed some items, but in order to do that, remove a pool, you're supposed to get a demolition permit with the town. This way the town is notified that you're removing it, and they inspect it to make sure it was removed properly.
Right.
So,
What do you do in your case? If it's there located, do we trim around it? Do we make sure
Yeah.
there's a fence secured, or do we
Oh,
fill it with
absolutely.
sand, or what?
yeah, I would suggest that we fill it in if it's there, because definitely not usable, and anything in there, pool filter, pump hoses, whatever was in there needs to go, so.
That's all, just want commitment on secure the pool area for any kids in the neighborhood.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, you said you had witnesses to come forward?
Well, I have, I think, Mr. Sproston, Bill
Okay.
Sproston.
Hi,
Hi, how you doing?
good. You want to come forward, sir?
Yes, I do.
And then identify yourself and your hamlet?
Sure, I will. My name is William Sproston. I live at 321 Baywood Drive, Baiting Hollow. I'm directly, diagonally across from the blighted property. And I commend Mr. Downs on his work, what he did on that, because he did a great job.
Thank you.
Believe me. Excellent. I've known the prior occupants before they left for 28 years.
Yeah.
I've lived in that development. It's a beautiful development. I keep my property pristine, and almost everybody in that development keeps their property pristine. Okay, in regards to the property, I called Mr. Downs, I sent letters to the town, I complained about it. I went so far as to send letters to Guardian, PNC Bank, and Deutsche Bank. No response from these people, because they don't care. They don't care about your community, your town, or anybody else. So, I took pictures of the property. I've been on the property. I have pictures of the inside of that house, because I know the people. And the last time, I'll give you an example. When the first crew came to do maintenance from Guardian on that property, I saw the van pull up, a van, backs into the driveway, and I went over to say, what are you guys gonna do today? And he said, well, I said, you're gonna clean the curbing? Are you gonna clean around the house? Are you gonna mow the lawn? So, I'm looking, and out of that van comes a push lawnmower, brand new. A weed whacker, brand new. And a hedge trimmer, all brand new. This is not right. These guys are not landscapers. They're not doing anything to this property. So I asked them, are you gonna maintain the property and fix it up so it's presentable at least? It's not an eyesore. Because I pay taxes $12,000 a year. I don't wanna look at that. No one would. Not one person on this board would, okay? So they said, yeah, we're gonna take care of it. Well, a couple hours later, they're gone. I walk over to that property, and then meanwhile, the weed whacked in the grass. They didn't pick one drop of grass. I don't even think they turned the mower on. They weed whacked it. It was so high. It was about 2.5 foot high. They weed whacked it down. They didn't pick up any grass. They didn't clean up anything. They may have went around the house with the weed whacker, a couple of weeds here and there, and that was it. They were gone. They were gone for 2 months. Then they come back. So I say to them, oh, you guys are gonna come back? You got it to the curb this time? No, we can't do it. The Guardian will pay us or whatever the problem was. I said to the guy, let me ask you a question. How much did you charge Guardian to do this? They told the guy, off the top, we said $2,000. I said, $2,000? Oh no, I'm sorry, $1,500. They charged $1,500 to Guardian to cut the weed whack that grass. Now, Guardian subcontracted them. So you imagine what Guardian charged Deutsche Bank? I'll bet you they charged them $5,000 for that job. That did nothing. They did nothing. Absolutely nothing to improve that house or improve the quality in this town. Nothing. They left again. And then they came back and they did a little fascia. Talking about the fascia, underneath that porch, like Mr. Downs says, it should be done to code. That's not done to code. They screwed it up with screws this big, the heads of them this big. Not nails like they should have done, like a regular contractor would have done, and done it the right way. No, they put any rails they wanted in there, they threw whatever they could in there, it's like putting lipstick on a pig, and I'm sorry to tell you that. Whatever that Guardian did and charged the bank, they should be ashamed of themselves. In fact, the bank should be ashamed of themselves to be taken by a company like that. They have done nothing for that property. But it's been an eyesore for us all summer. We suffered looking at that ugly, I don't even want to use the word, but it's deplorable. And they've done nothing. And the bank should be ashamed of themselves for paying them to do that work, because they've done nothing. These guys, you know where these guys came from to cut that lawn, or actually weed whack the lawn? They came from Jersey, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. They were some friend of somebody who knows somebody from Guardian that said, go over there and take care of this. It wasn't a regular landscaping company. that went in there with some kind of pride, cleaned the curbing and cut the grass and took all the clippings away and did a proper job, they don't care. Guardian and the banks don't care, because they don't live there. We do. We live in this town, and I'm proud of this town. And you are proud of this town, because that's why you're where you are right now. But in order to make these people pay for their mistakes, you said $2,500, that's nothing. You should need to change, times have changed in this world. You need to up your fees to $5,000, and not annually, biannually. Every 6 months, they don't do their job, you fire them, fine them $5,000. And you'll see just how fast they'll get their shit done. They'll do it then, after you get on it with $5,000 at a clip, every 6 months, not every year, every 6 months, because that's revenue for the town, and it's a shame on them for not doing their job. Because $2,500 to these people is a spit in the bucket, because I guarantee you, Guardian charged them a lot more than that $1,500 to have that subcontractor go in there and do that butcher job. And as a homeowner, and somebody, my landscaper comes in and charges me $85 a week. And he mows, picks up the grass, weed whacks, cleans my house. You want to come to my house, you're more than welcome anytime you want. But if the board really wants to get a good impression of what that house looks like, take the time to go up there and look at it. And then you'll understand why people in the community are so upset and so deranged about this whole situation with Guardian Bank. I was hoping somebody good from Guardian Bank, from Guardian was here, and the Deutsche Bank, because I want to fill their ears with the same bullshit I've gotten from them. Nothing, because they gave me nothing. I have copies of the emails I sent them. If you would like them, I can give them. I sent them the weed whack, that's all they did, and they left. That's a sad thing. And the rails, and then they took the rails off of the porch they fixed and threw them in the front lawn so that we could look at it. They couldn't even put it in the truck and take it away. That's pathetic. That's super pathetic. Things have to change in this town. We have to make it so that these people understand. And as far as I'm concerned, those people are gone. 3 of them are dead. LaCorey's dead. The Campbell's husband and wife both died. And the wife, she's in Colorado selling pot at some pot farm, from what I understand. I'm sorry, but that's the fact.
Okay.
Mr. Sprouse,
Yeah.
you have photos today?
I have the, oh, yeah.
You want to talk about those?
Oh, that's the curbing. That's the curbing. See from that box there, all the way that way, is all the curbing.
Stay on the mic here also.
That's all the curbing. That's overgrown. You don't even know there's cobblestone there. And they said they were gonna clean that. That's more cobblestone. There's an island, believe it or not, where that tree is. There's an island in there. You would never know it, because it's so overgrown, it's not funny. And that's the driveway, all overgrown, and that goes to the back. That's the front of the house. They had the soffits. The guys came in there and nailed some soffits up on fascia on the sides of the house, because it was blowing off. I'll give them credit for that. Shitty job. But that's all hanging down. And like I said, the soffit's underneath.
Mr. Spratz, I'm
Yeah.
just gonna ask you to refrain from
I will.
improper
Yeah, I'm
language,
sorry.
please. We are on
But I
TV.
get very excited with this. because
And
I-
this is an official
So-
meeting,
I know,
okay?
I know.
It's a government
It's-
meeting.
It's
Thank
very,
you.
it's very bad. They didn't do anything underneath the soffits. They put them up haphazardly. They didn't do anything as far as securing them in a proper manner, like a carpenter or a regular person, contractor would have done. Everything was just done poorly in that house. There's nothing in that house that's bad. And if you think the outside looks bad, you don't even want to go in the inside. Because when I was there the last time, I saw that guy. I said, do you mind if I go inside and check the house to see if anybody's been in there living in Vegas? The guy didn't care. Opened the door for me. I walked in. I took pictures. I have pictures of the inside of the house. It looks worse than the outside. It's horrible.
Mr. Sprouse, when did you take these pictures?
Oh, God, a while back. The dates,
The date's on the
the dates
flyers.
close, you know. And then the other ones, I have.
there's the
I have-
inside.
There they are, there's the inside of the house. Everything is thrown, garbage all over the place, there's food on the countertops. The countertops are gone. There's no kitchen. Basically, there's no kitchen in that house. That's the garage, they did, that's a garage. It was a garage, they must have alternated or changed it. That used to be a garage, 2-car garage in that side of the house. They changed it. That's the kitchen. That's the living room, or den. That's a den. That's one of the bedrooms upstairs. That's another bedroom upstairs. You can see all the baseboard has been ripped out. That's a bathroom with there's graffiti on the wall, one of them. That's looking from upstairs, downstairs. That's the dinette area, still all full of garbage. And then it's the outside of the house, basically, and that's the driveway again. But it looks just as bad inside as it does outside. I feel so bad, it's not even funny. It's unbelievable what you're looking at. And
Right.
the town, I just hope to God the town changes and finds these people and changes the regulations to make them pay, because that's the only way you'll ever stop these people from coming in and just ignoring the town, ignoring Rich. I even talked to Rich a couple of times. They didn't even get back to him right away. They totally ignored him. And they ignored me. I sent these letters, they never responded one time to me to say, look, Mr. Sproston, we understand, we got a lot of things going on, whatever it might be, we will get to it, but everybody they sent, the same guys they send come from Jersey, and they're not contractors, they don't clean up the property. And to help the people in the community, because nobody wants to look at that anymore, we are fed up with it. See what you can do. That's all I can ask of you, because it's,
Mr. Spotted, I really, I understand what you're going through. I live in a community and we've never experienced anything like that, but I feel for you, and this is a very solid step moving in that direction.
Yes.
As far as increasing the summonses, we have a code revision here, they may want to pursue that, and I'm sorry you had to go through that, and hopefully we're gonna
it's
move
not just me, it's all the
expeditiously
community.
to try to remedy the
I would
situation.
greatly appreciate it, and so would the neighbors.
Sure.
And I understand, you know, the town's going through a lot of changes, because I've mentioned it to a few people. I've mentioned it to Richie about people in the communities. You know, I understand we have farmland out here, people park their vehicles on the farmland, but when it comes to a development, no one should ever park a car on a lawn in the front of a house.
Well, we
on
have
a
code on
development.
that.
And I hope to God they come up with some kind of a solution to stop in developments. I'm not saying a guy with a tractor can't park it on his, but in a designated development, no one should park on the lawn. I have a landscaper in my development, he parks his landscaping truck on the front lawn.
Mr. Sproston, we got to stay on topic here.
Okay, all right,
Through
but
the
I'm just saying, just what, I got a lot of things, but, okay, I appreciate it, I'm sorry about that.
Thank you very much. I think Councilman Kern had a question for you.
Yeah, Rich, I have a question for you. So
Rich?
how often have Deutsche Bank been fined, and are they paying the fines?
They haven't been fined at all yet.
Oh, so, and in terms of the 2,500, how does that work? Is that annual, or?
It's an annual fee, yeah. If they remain on the blighted property inventory list, then that fee is an annual fee, yeah.
And what about all the other infractions? I mean, what's your total fines for the lawn mowing and all that other kind of stuff? The upkeep of the house, I mean, the deck is not usable.
Well, yeah, right now, we would have to segregate each and every
Itemize it.
deficiency, itemize it all out to state code violations. We haven't done that. Right now, we're just doing the blighted property. It could be done. It's not that it can't be done. It can be
Well,
done.
it seems like that would hit Deutsche Bank where it's gonna hurt, right? You know, make them aware that this is serious, right?
Well, I thank you, Rich, for your work, and
Yeah.
and Mr. Sproston for testifying.
Yes, thank you.
My biggest concern is safety of the people in the neighborhood who may be wandering through there, the children and everything else. Clear that the decking is absolutely a wreck,
Yeah.
and that probably the rest of the deck around the house is really terrible. So I'm really concerned about safety first and foremost, but I agree with Mr. Sproston, I would not want to be living next door to this.
Can I say one more thing?
Sure.
That shed that they knocked down, Rich told you about, that used to be a horse shed. They had a horse there one time. And I guarantee you pretty much, if you take the brush around that pool away, there's a cyclone fence around the pool, 4 foot high. Whether it's still good or not, I don't know, but I guarantee you the horse is there, because it died. And I saw the horse go in, but I never saw him come out.
Okay.
So I'll guarantee it's in that pool. And that pool is 8 foot deep, and it's a mosquito breeder. It should be filled in and gone away with everything. In fact, I really think the bank is in a bad position because it's got, I don't know how many mortgages on it. No one's ever gonna pay the price for it. So they're better off knocking it down and clearing the property and selling the property. That's all I can tell you. They're better off bulldozing it.
Right,
Have a good
thank
day.
you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
for your
Anyone
time.
else? Anyone from the public want to come forward? Anyone on Zoom?
There is someone on Zoom.
Okay. Related to the property?
Yes. This is Ronald Park, who represents the mortgage lender.
Okay.
Should be coming up here in a second. Hello, you're on. Justin, number 7.
Excuse me?
Okay, you're on.
Okay. Okay.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Our office represents the investor Deutsche Bank and the loan servicer Aquin Loan Servicing, also known as PHH Mortgage Corporation, who services the mortgage attached to this, the subject property located at 330 Baywood Drive. I appreciate the Inspector Downs' observations and Mr. Spaulding's comments, but I just wanted to clarify certain points. I wanted to advise the town hall members that there's still a pending foreclosure action against the borrower and record owner Philip LaCory, who passed away, but I'll get to that, pending in the Suffolk County Supreme Court, index number 602-129-2018 in Deutsche Bank versus LaCory. Procedurally, the motion for default judgment and an order of reference was granted. However, the borrower in 2020 filed a COVID hardship declaration, which delayed the action due to the statewide moratorium that was implemented at the time of the pandemic. The next motion, so procedurally, the next motion would be to move for a judgment of foreclosure and sale, and then ultimately to sale. From my understanding, the borrower attempted to complete a short sale of the property, but unfortunately he passed away in December 2021. It's guardian asset policy to secure the property once it's vacant. However, the last site visit on July 2nd, 2022, the property was actually deemed occupied. However, in the last 2 site visits, the property was deemed vacant, and so we'll proceed with remediating all the issues. They couldn't act on it because, one, the bank doesn't own the property, and 2, it was occupied previously. But I think the last vacant site visit was on August 24th, and they said that they confirmed that it was vacant. Therefore, our recommendation is having Guardian Asset move forward with the remediations listed on Inspector Downs' notice of violations and proceed with remediating any issues, which includes securing the property so that it prevents any dangerous conditions from existing. The reason why Aquin and Guardian Asset couldn't immediately address the issues is because it doesn't own the property, and at the time, in mid-July, it was still occupied. I think there was an appraisal at the end of 2021, and the wife and children were still on the property, from my understanding, which is why you can't just enter it, otherwise it's trespassing. So, but hopefully, the property continues to be vacant, and we could move forward within the next weeks. And I could speak with Inspector Down and coordinate with Guardian Assets as to exactly what needs to be addressed. So I don't think the town needs to move forward with remediations. I'm aware of all the issues. We received the notice, and we're addressing it now, and I've told Guardian to proceed with the remediations immediately.
Let me ask you this, Mr. Park, are they gonna send the same people from New Jersey who don't know what they're doing?
Guardian Asset is the same company. As to their origin of location, I was not aware that they're from Jersey. Guardian Asset handles state matters throughout the
Excuse me,
states, in
I'm
Jersey
talking
and New
about
York.
I'm talking about the people that they contracted who didn't know what they're doing. Are you gonna be watching Guardian that they send people who actually know what they're doing to remediate this property?
I will advise Guardian to not send people from Jersey or from other vendors, and to address the issues accordingly, and to confirm that the quality of work is up to par.
There's a tremendous amount of work that has to be accomplished. You can't do this in a week, 2 weeks, probably a few months if you aggressively follow through. It's a tremendous amount of work, and that's externally. You also have all the work internally. We're not even sure if that structure is safe. And we have our code officers there trying to figure out and take pictures, and their safety is on the line also. There's the, the first thing is secure its safety, and then, you should secure its safety now, tomorrow, right away, regardless of what the courts say, and we all felt the non-eviction, we're still feeling it, because it's still in effect, we get it. But we need to secure that safety. And, I don't know how the board feels, if you wanna,
Can
allocate
I
some
add one
time.
more recommendation? Can I add one more recommendation?
Yes,
Is it possible to start the process now and then touch base with Inspector Down and then speak on the status at the next town hall meeting perhaps as a first step? Because this is the first time I've been dealing with this property, and so I would like to address it immediately and just move forward with the
yeah,
mediation.
town board meetings are in just to go back and forth, you don't do anything, then you come back. We have code, you have to work it out, the board has to agree whether to move forward to designate this, through a resolution or allow you some time, but critically important and central to your possible efforts of mitigating is to ensure that you speak with code.
Understood.
Yes, I think you need to contact code enforcement, and we'll do a conference call with the town attorney's office and see if there's any way to address this.
Immediately.
Yes.
Sure, allow me to reach out to Guardian's contacts and then we could schedule a call. If you could just provide me with an email address I could respond to, perhaps?
Yes, it's Howard, Howard, at Town of Riverhead, NY, all one word, .gov.
Okay. Got it. I'll email them right now and we'll get a meeting set up immediately. Hopefully by this week, yep.
And we want licensed contractors here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, we have Mr. Sprotson back up, okay?
Yvette,
Yes.
thank you for letting me come back up. That gentleman is 100% wrong. That house has been vacant since December, because I knew the young lady that was there, because she had something to do with Mr. LaCory before he died, and they removed her from the premises in December. So it wasn't in July. Since December, that property's been vacated, absolutely vacated. I live there, I know.
Okay, and we
He is
understand,
absolutely wrong.
we're moving forward from today,
Okay,
and
so just
hopefully
so
to
you know. Okay,
remediate.
thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, are we, anyone else want to come forward? Where's, Hurley, you're fine with everything? Can we close this meeting?
Yes, we can. Thank you for your consideration.
Okay, the time
Thank you
now
for your
is
time.
3:04. We're gonna close this public, section of this meeting, but it's gonna remain open for written comments until 4:30 PM, Monday, September 19, 2022, at the town clerk's office. And moving forward, our last public hearing was scheduled for 2:05. The time now is 3:04. We're gonna open up a public hearing to hear interested persons with regards to Chapter 211, Parks and Recreation, Article 3, parking and permits related to use of recreation centers and facilities, parks, playgrounds, public bathing, beaches, and dog parks. Eric, you're up again. You have this, can you please expand on this area?
Absolutely. So this proposed code change is a little bit of housekeeping. It clarifies in our code where the seasonal seasonal beach permit is supposed to be placed on your vehicle. For many years, the stickers that the Recreation Department has been issuing say affixed to the driver's side rear window on it. This clarifies it in the code. This is designed to help our police officers and traffic control officers so that when they're going through the parking lots, they know exactly where to look. In the course of handling these tickets in justice court, sometimes people don't have a rear driver's side window, so in that event, we put it in here that it'll be on the left side of the bumper, and clarifies that improper location of this sticker would constitute a violation under the town code, which our town justices have been treating it as a violation. anyway, so this just clarifies it in the code.
Good. Do any members of the public want to come forward? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mike Foley, Reeves Park. I know this is, Eric, I know this is very limited in scope, and I understand that. And Tim, just to bring you in real quick, I know that you have been chairing the beach committee. Heard nothing but good things about what's going on. You guys are doing a great job. Thank you very much for everything you're doing. Just for a point of clarification for us, because we're still unsure, have the non-seasonal daily passes and seasonal passes already been addressed in the town code? They are. They are no longer, both are now in the code, no seasonal and no daily non-resident passes.
Well, there's no non-residential, right? So
Right.
Right now, it's all town of Riverhead residents, and the season goes from January 1 to December 31. So it's
That's great. Thank you very much for what you do. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Chip, do we have anyone on, we don't. Okay. At this time, I guess the board, anyone from the board? Okay. All right, so we're gonna be good. The time now is 3:11, and we're gonna close this public portion, of the hearing, and we're gonna leave it open for written comments until 4:30 PM, Monday, September 19th, 2022, at the town clerk's office. All right, we're now gonna move on to public comments on the resolutions before us. Do any members present, or any residents present who would like to comment specifically on any of the resolutions before us?
Good afternoon, Mike Foley from Reeves Park. I'd like to speak on Resolution 665 and Resolution 669. 665 talks about extending the moratorium on solar development in Riverhead. I certainly support the town hearing on this, and I heard at a town work session that this was discussed. There was only a few members of the town board available for that. And I know there was a little difference in opinion between U of Ed and UCAN on how this was going to proceed. So I'm glad it's going to a public hearing. I just also wanted to prepare you to consider expanding the moratorium to things that are more pertinent right now, battery storage and stuff like that. And I know that's outside of 665, so I'll leave it at that. On 669, which has to do with the work that has been done by Ken and by Anne Marie on the, trying to come up with where these weed establishments should go in retail and in cannabis cafes. You know, Ken, when you were appointed to this committee, I was skeptical. You were one of the two people that voted against it. You turned me in the first meeting. I appreciate everything that you did on that. You put people that were in this audience on that committee almost by fiat. You listened to every one of us. I don't agree with all the things that are going on, but I certainly agreed with the process. You were non-biased, you were objective, you asked everybody for their opinion, and there's no question in my mind you considered it all. So I want to thank you for all of that. Anne Marie, I think you did a great job on culling hundreds of pages of information from the Office of Cannabis and State, and came down to about 30 pages that were pertinent to exactly what we were trying to accomplish. So I just want to commend the town board for where we're going right now. There are only 4 communities in Long Island that have agreed to put this on Long Island. What I had hoped when we first had these discussions, and there were some very pointed disagreements on the board, but I hoped then and I believe now that if we put this in the right direction, we are going to generate tremendous revenue for the town that will not only give us the work, the money that we need to improve security and cameras and all the other things that we need to make this a better town, but can draw tremendous business into our town that will help ignite the entire town economy. So I thank you for that. I look forward to participating in that public hearing. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Thank you, Mayor.
okay. Chip? No one. Anyone else from the public? Okay. Diane, call the resolution.
we have
Oh,
someone.
oh, we have someone. Oh, it's,
Good afternoon, John
McAuliffe.
McAuliffe from
Okay.
Roanoke Landing. I also wanted to comment on, I think it's 665, yes, and make reference to the article that I sent, and I got a very nice response from both Mr. Hubbard and Mr. Kern which is the question of, as you have this moratorium, whether there could be serious exploration of the what they call agrivoltaic, that is a combination of agricultural production with land that is being used for solar panels. So it's really simply to note that article and hope that the moratorium is used in that way. Thank you.
okay, thank you, John. Anyone else? Chip? Okay. That's it? Diane, can you please call the resolutions?
Certainly.
you.
Resolution 623.
Highway Department budget transfer, so moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 624.
Budget adjustment for PSEG rebates, so moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 625.
Riverhead and Calverton Sewer District's budget transfer, so moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 626.
Capital project number 52107, parking lot improvements closure. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 627.
Capital project number 62103, LED lighting closure, so moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 628.
Accepts the resignation of the public safety dispatcher. 1, so moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 629.
Approve special event Chapter 255 application for Bold Broadcasting LLC, Riverhead Holiday Light Show, so moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 630.
Ratifies and approves Capital 255 special event, approves Chapter 255 special event application for Jamesport Fire Department, Jamesport Fire Department, 5K and 10K. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please. Vote,
Kern.
please.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 631.
Approves fireworks application for Bathing Hollow Club, September 24, 2022, so moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 632.
Authorizes designated alcohol service vendors to serve alcohol at the Riverhead Country Fair Street Festival on Sunday, October 9th, 2022, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. in conjunction with Riverhead Townscape Incorporated along Main Street between Griffin Avenue and Union Avenue, inclusive of Peconic Avenue and the riverfront, authorizes the supervisor to execute a license agreement with designated alcohol service vendors and Riverhead Townscape Incorporated. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 633.
Authorizes the town clerk to publish and post bid for traffic signal emergency repair and maintenance, so moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 634.
Authorizes notice to bidders rehabilitation of Route 58, elevated storage tank, Riverhead Water District, Town of Riverhead, project number 12/RD WD 2103. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 635.
Extends bid for replacement of large meters for Riverhead Water District. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 636.
Awards bid for Highway Department grinding of town yard waste on-site at Southside Youngs Avenue Yard Waste Facility. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 637.
Awards professional services agreement for financial advisor. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 638.
638.
Yeah, Kern.
Awards professional services agreement for bond counsel. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 639.
Amends Resolution 2022-378 to purchase highway equipment for highway maintenance, construction, reconstruction, and/or snow removal. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 640.
Approves engineering department request for change order number 4 related to bid for demolition of 117 East Main Street and 121 East Main Street Town Square. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 641.
Approves engineering department request for change order number 5 related to bid for demolition of 117 East Main Street and 121 East Main Street Town Square project. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 642.
Appoints a maintenance mechanic 2. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 643.
Ratifies the appointment of an interpreter for Police Department and Justice Court. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 644.
Accepts the resignation of an accountant. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 645.
Accepts the resignation of electrical inspector. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 646.
Terminates the employment of Network and Systems Specialist 1. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 647.
Authorizes purchasing agent to attend NISAMPO conference. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 648.
Approves the attendance of one police department employee to the New York State 2022 Homicide Seminar. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
That is such an interesting cause. Jealous. Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 649.
Ratifies authorization for the supervisor to execute a stipulation with the CSEA Local 1000, AFSCME, AFL-CIO Riverhead Unit of the Suffolk County Local Number 852. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 650.
Authorizes the supervisor to execute an agreement with Thompson Reuters for Justice Court. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 651.
Ratifies the authorization for the supervisor to execute an amended license agreement, nunc pro tunc, with Crown Recycling for yard waste and grinding services. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 652.
Authorizes the supervisor to execute an agreement with the New York State DOT for Meeting House Creek Main Road Stormwater Wetland Construction Project. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes, and we gotta thank Assemblywoman Giglio. I tried to reach out to her to tell her this was coming up, but I'm sure she knows it's up, and she worked hard on this, and thank you.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 653.
Authorizes settlement of legal action by Asphalt Company Supply of Long Island LLC and Bovee Industries, Inc. against the town of Riverhead. So moved.
Second.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 654.
Authorizes the supervisor to issue a letter to the Suffolk County Department of Health Services authorizing the use of Pine Barrens credits originating from property located in the town of Riverhead. Alex Sordo. So moved.
Excuse me, I got a quick thing on this. The applicant contacted my office and wished to withdraw his request. So we
For
should,
the Pine Barrens credit?
yes.
Okay,
So
so,
move to,
Just
so table it.
well, no.
Don't table it, we could just
No.
withdraw it.
You wanna withdraw it?
Yeah.
So I'll make a motion to withdraw it?
Yes,
Okay.
Second.
and we need a vote.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes to withdraw.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes to withdraw.
Resolution 654 is withdrawn. Resolution 655.
Authorizes bow hunting for deer on town property at Enterprise Park at Calverton, Suffolk County Tax Map number 600-135-1-7.33 at all, 1751 Sound Avenue, Calverton, Suffolk County Tax Map number 600-60-1-2, and Middle Road, Riverhead, Suffolk County Tax Map number 600-80-2-10.1. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 656.
Acceptance of bulletproof vest grant. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 657.
Acceptance of donation received for canine kennel purchase. So moved.
Second.
Vote please.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 658.
Authorizes the acceptance of donation of evergreen tree from Warner's Nursery for Town's Square project. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes, thank you to Jimmy and Wendy and the whole family. Thank you.
Hubbard.
Ditto. Thank you. Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes, and I believe at the moment, it's being planted at our town square, and we're hoping to have a holiday, tree lighting. So, thank you, Ken Tessa, for working on this. Absolutely, yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 659.
Assumes lead agency and issues negative declaration pursuant to SECRA for the site plan application of Zenith Building, 12 McDermott Avenue, Riverhead, New York, Suffolk County Tax Map number 600-129-4-5.2. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 660.
Schedules public hearing for the site plan application of Zenith Building, 12 McDermott Avenue, Riverhead, New York State, Suffolk County Tax Map number 600-129-4-5.2. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 661.
Sets further public hearing for the demolition of the structure located at 168 Creek Road, Wading River, also known as Suffolk County Tax Map number 600-29-1-30.1. So moved.
Second.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 662.
Authorizes town clerk to publish and post public notice to consider a local law to amend chapter 263 of the Riverhead Town Code entitled Rental Dwelling Units. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 663.
Resolution calling public hearing regarding a capital improvement to the existing facilities of the Riverhead Water District for a proposed lateral main replacement at 205 Osborne Avenue, Riverhead, New York. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 664.
Resolution calling public hearing regarding a capital improvement for the extension of facilities of the Riverhead Water District for Norfolk Developers LLC for the water main extension at the property known as Suffolk County Tax Map 600-84-2-2.1 in Riverhead, New York. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 665.
Authorizes town clerk to publish and post a public notice to authorize the town of Riverhead to extend a 12-month moratorium on the development of commercial solar energy production systems in the town of Riverhead. So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes to the public notice, yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 666.
Authorizes town clerk to publish and post public notice to consider a local law to amend Chapter 207 of the Riverhead Town Code entitled Animals. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 667.
Authorizes town clerk to publish and post public notice to consider the purchase of parcel located in the town of Riverhead known as Sawmill Creek Addition. So moved.
May I correct the financial impact statement? I apologize to the town board. There is a financial impact. The funds are coming from Town Law 64E, Community Preservation Funds.
Okay, so we're
What
gonna
did you
have.
have it under originally, the 12B money?
No, no financial impact.
Oh,
So we're just gonna amend the resolution.
okay.
Yeah, the fiscal impact.
Okay, so we'll take a vote on it.
Okay, we ready? Did we,
Yes,
okay. Kern.
That's-
667. Okay. I'll get it for the,
60, okay, so
I think it was 667.
is it 667?
Yes.
So what do you need me to do?
Um,
As amended?
As amended.
As
Okay,
amended.
so I'll vote yes as amended for 667.
Okay, vote, please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes, as amended.
Aguirre.
Yes, as amended.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 668.
Authorizes town clerk to publish and post notice to consider a local law to amend Chapter 289-17 of the Riverhead Town Code. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 669.
Authorizes town clerk to publish and post notice to consider a local law to amend Chapter 301, Zoning and Land Development, Part 3, Supplementary Regulations, Article L111 of the Riverhead Town Code. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 670.
Adopts a local law amending Chapter 245 of the Riverhead Town Code entitled Littering and Graffiti, 245.10, penalties for offenses. And I want to thank the litter committee for making
Yeah.
this happen, and it's a big yes for me.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 671.
I would like to make a motion to table Resolution 671.
Second. Can I just give a little discussion?
Sure.
So, we're confident we're gonna get the ice rink here in Riverhead. They had asked the interest of having a secondary attorney, just kind of look things over, make sure they've dotted all their i's and crossed their t's. I'm confident that we're gonna come to a nice agreement with them, and I commend our town attorney, Eric, has worked very, very hard on this and diligently, so I appreciate all your work. They just would need a little extra time just to kind of review things. They did make some comments that were just received this afternoon, so in fairness, our town attorney needs a little time to look over them as well. So I think we've made great progress. We're gonna get there, and so we're just simply tabling, just so we make sure we've got everything all set and we're clear to go. So, I support tabling it just for times for the attorney to review.
Who seconded it?
Go. I
Second.
seconded it.
Okay, you seconded? Take the vote, please.
Kern,
Yes.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Bayrod,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes, I just want to add that, we still need, before this goes up, Eric, and I know we spoke about it, we need the exhibits, A, B, and C. Because this is like buying a house without the survey. You know, you don't know how much.
We're not doing that without the exhibits.
Okay,
Yep.
I just want to make sure, again, it's like buying a house without the survey,
Yep.
and before you know it,
I
you
think
don't
all
know
that
what's
was
going to happen.
completed at this point.
So-
At the work session, yes.
Good, as long as that's completed, and you have to check with the AG's office. I just have one other question on this, since we're here. So what happens if this resolution, we get the exhibits, we clear through the AG's office, and we vote this? Does the construction start immediately? I guess,
Moves really as fast.
what
as
if we
they-
didn't have one of
as
those,
fast
like
as
the
they want.
AG's office?
Well, it would be like approving an application. It would be like building department issuing a building
But
permit.
let's say we vote the resolution, they start construction, and we didn't clear the AG's office, what happens then?
Well, you said we did clear the AG.
No, I'm reversing now. We didn't clear it.
Well, we would do that before they should start.
Oh, okay. I mean, everybody wants it. We just gotta get this right.
Okay.
And, I totally agree. We're here, but unfortunately, in government,
Right.
things take, some time, and, we're a long way further than we
Well,
were last month.
I'm hesitant to ask the AG's office for an opinion until we know precisely the details. Having just received
That-
comments from them this afternoon,
Right.
I can't
Good.
really ask them what their opinion on it is.
Okay, that's good. Thanks. Okay.
Okay, and to complete that vote, Resolution 671 is tabled. Resolution 672.
Pays the bills.
That's a good one.
Seconded.
And do we have,
Kern,
Yes.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Bayrod,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Aguirre.
okay, yes. I'm just-
Resolution adopted.
Good, I'm just looking, Anne Marie, where's the resolution? We have a resolution coming off the floor regarding the Suffolk County Water Authority and the. And the, yep, thank you. And the Manorville, I didn't happen to get one, it just came in. And, again, we are pleased to announce that after the hard work, since, what date was it? February 19, 2020, when we commenced on this project, looks like we reached a resolution with the Suffolk County Water Authority, and we are gonna be working together. They are gonna hook everyone up, and, later on, if we can find funds, they will give us the users. If not, they're gonna continue. We had a very good, conversation the last 2 days, and, the resolution is here before the board and for your consideration. There are concerns. We have grants that are due on Friday, and unfortunately, we didn't reach a full resolution with the Suffolk County Water Authority until 5 minutes before this meeting came to fruition, so that's why it's a late. So,
Yeah,
So-
I'll move.
Okay, just to clarify, the goal is to get water to all these homes, but we need finances in place. And so what this really is the grant application that's gonna be put in shows more support and proof that we're working with an intermunicipal agreement with Suffolk County Water Authority so that they have the ability, perhaps more profound up in that area, to provide water and resources and the construction to those homes in that area. The goal is to get water in there, but we've got to get funding first. And so that's what this is like. So the town board resolution says that we are going to sign an intermunicipal agreement today so that it can be attached to our application as well as Suffolk County Water Authority's application for funding to get pipes in the ground up in that Manorville area. And what we did is they had originally given us one agreement, And the agreement was revised, basically, we're asking for the same treatment in the contract negotiations what they did with the town of Brookhaven. And so we just revised it and asked what they gave Brookhaven, we'd like them to give to Riverhead, and they've agreed upon that. It's been a pleasure working with Suffolk County Water Authority. Jeff Sabo and everyone over there has been great, so I think this is a great step to prove that we will now have the ability to get pipes in the ground, and now what's just holding us back is getting the money. So I'd like to bring off the floor, resolution authorizes the town of Riverhead to enter into a cooperative agreement with the Suffolk County Water Authority for Waters Improvement Project for the extension area described in the town's mapping plan as extension number 94. So move from the floor.
Seconded?
Vote, please.
Kern,
Yes, and thank you, Anne Marie and Eric, everybody, Frank, that who worked on this, Ken, so good job.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Bayrock,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes, and I just want to add one more point, just to add to you, Councilman Rothwell, we're also going to apply jointly, so whoever gets the money, if we get it first, they're going to get the money, we're going to provide our funding to them, and so that it's a good collaborative effort, and didn't think we were going to get there, but we did, and Frank, I know you were very adamant about what had to be done, and the people who worked on the committee, thank you, and we're moving forward.
Okay, resolution 673 is taken off the floor. You wanna call-
We read it for a vote again. Authorize the town of Riverhead to enter into a cooperative agreement with the Suffolk County Water Authority for water improvement project for extension area described in the town's mapping plan as extension 94. So moved.
Seconded?
Vote, please.
Kern,
Yes.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Bayrock,
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yeah, again, they've said it, but Frank, the work that you put in on this, and Anne Marie, we really appreciate it. This is gonna make those, the people in Manorville very happy when this comes to fruition. It's gonna solve a lot of problems for the water that's been up there, and, Ken, also, I know you've been very adamant in putting this together, so, a lot of pieces, a lot of moving pieces, and we're not 100% there yet, but we're darn close, and, keep our fingers crossed this will fix the problem, so I vote yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted.
Great. Thank you, Diane.
Thank you, Anne Marie, and thank you, Frank.
This is from the,
Yeah.
first public hearing.
All right, so that resolution has to go, where's Devin? Is that resolution online?
Will be online shortly.
Okay, with the, yeah, thank you, with the memorandum of understanding, perfect. All right, so we're gonna move forward, and this is gonna conclude our resolutions for today. And at this point, we're gonna open it up to public comments on any other matter. Is there anyone in the audience from the public that would like to come forward? Okay. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Cindy Clifford, Riverhead. I don't presume to speak for anyone other than myself, but I know that as word gets out about the warehouse developments proposed for Calverton, more and more residents are getting concerned for a number of reasons. To begin, at this point, there are 6 different proposals for warehouses within about a 2-mile radius that, if approved, will take over about 200 football fields worth of land, construct buildings up to 3 stories high, and roll out massive blacktop parking lots on what is currently hundreds of open or undisturbed acres. Several are being built on spec. The speculation that businesses will come along and sign a lease. There are no signed leases or tenants for most of these warehouses yet. These developers are all watching and waiting for the domino sequence to begin with the approval of the substantial North Point and HK Ventures proposals. Should these projects be approved, in spite of many reasonable concerns, any standing arguments against turning Calverton into a warehouse world will no longer exist. Knowing that approving these projects will drastically and irreversibly change Calverton's character as we know it today begs many questions. What is the urgency? Is there a reward being offered to expedite approval? Keys to a Cadillac, a golden ticket? Is there a reason that these decisions can't wait until an updated comprehensive plan has been approved and put in place? Are there players intentionally roadblocking or inadvertently delaying or purposely dragging their feet on locking in a comprehensive plan? Are there players who stand to benefit somehow from this lack of protection that would otherwise obviously exclude or prohibit these projects from becoming a reality? I'd also like to raise the question whether anyone has asked Mr. Murphy's private consulting business has created a conflict with what should be his priority of working for and focusing on what's good for Riverhead. It seems at odds with his role as our town planner that he's not more anxious or concerned with having a comprehensive plan in place, and that he seems to be advocating for proposals that would be to the detriment of Calverton. But perhaps he's never been to Calverton and doesn't understand its character and what makes it so appealing and what we want to protect. Maybe he's never driven down that stretch of Route 25 past Edwards Avenue and Manor Lane, and imagine how different it would be with the addition of roughly 200 football fields full of warehouses and parking lots and floodlights and a likely overwhelming number of 18-wheelers serving those warehouses any hour of the day or night. This is not what residents want for Calverton, and I can't imagine that this is what the town board would want. If we want the tax revenue, assuming the IDA doesn't negate that benefit, why aren't we inviting the developers to create a world of warehouses at the more appropriate Enterprise Park in Calverton? There are 600 acres that could host businesses exactly like this, with transport issues already resolved. We've got the rail spur. We have easy access to the LIE that would certainly save us from having to suffer and try to resolve an unresolvable traffic nightmare that would occur. Developers would get to build their properties, and we would get to protect Calverton from bad planning. I know there are laws and loopholes and lawyers that could get in the way of common sense and being able to work purely in the best interest of our town. So it seems the most efficient and inaugurable way to take the time to carefully consider these options is to declare a townwide moratorium until a comprehensive plan is completed, accepted, and firmly in place. I hope you will each give careful consideration to calling for a moratorium out of respect for Riverhead and for the people who live here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else want to come forward?
Eric, are you telling me all this?
No, you won this time.
Good afternoon, Barbara Blast, Jamesport. As with most of my comments, I focus on the process, not the merits of any individual proposal or application. I think it's unfortunate that you've been put in the position of having to consider an extension of a solar moratorium where no data on the subject has been collected since the adoption of the moratorium back in October of 2021. Some may be quick to say that that was part of a weak performance that led to the town breaking its contract with the consultants hired for the comprehensive plan update. But before the moratorium went into effect, information on current and proposed solar farms was required to be collected and analyzed pursuant to a final scope for HK Ventures, which was adopted in November of 2020. Curiously, despite NextEra and S-Power 2, which were actually in review at that time, no information was forthcoming then either. As far as we know, there are no solar applications currently before the town, but let's look at a flurry of activities that is happening now. We've heard a proposed code amendment for battery storage. Tier 1 systems would be permitted anywhere townwide, Tier 2 by special permit in Industrial A, C, PIP, APZ, and Residence A zoning use districts. We currently have 2 applications, one of which was already presented to the planning board as a fully engineered preliminary site plan discussion disguised as a tutorial for the board and the public. The code amendment is a type 1 action which presumes the preparation of an EIS. We have a proposed code that was discussed to amend the TDR ordinance. Again, each one of these individual things has its own merits. I'm talking about process. The TDR ordinance would provide for increased building heights up to 50 feet in the Industrial A and 40 feet in the Industrial C zoning use districts. 2 applications would currently be captured according to information provided by the town attorney's office. They're both, the amendment to the TDR ordinance is another type 1 action. Town law actually requires the preparation of a GEIS when amending a TDR program. So we have a couple of EISs, GEISs already percolating. And by the way, that TDR ordinance wouldn't apply to EPCAL because, as I'm sure you know, but maybe the public doesn't, the as-of-right building height in the PD district is 75 feet. And we haven't seen any of CAT's proposed site plans yet, but a draft that had been discussed at the DEC depicted 10 buildings with a total of 10 million square feet of industrial building space, with now a phenomenal total of cubic feet. You're involved as an involved agency. You are an involved agency in 3 applications that are currently being independently analyzed in separate EISs, despite the fact that they're all in the same geographic area, are for the same purpose, happening at the same time, and will impact the same resources. An argument has been made before the planning board that these applications should be studied cumulatively to avoid segmentation based upon the criteria outlined in SEEKR. The FEIS for one of the projects was recently accepted by the planning board. Concerns about its completeness were dismissed by the applicant's attorney as NIMBY talk during the August 4th planning board meeting. Staff was cross-examined by a board member who reassured the board that the document was complete, was in total compliance with SEEKR, and that they should proceed to accept it, which they did on August 18th. By the way, these meetings, if you haven't seen them, they're worth a viewing with some popcorn. So on August 18th, they accepted the document, except it wasn't complete and it wasn't consistent with the draft, the adopted final scope. The record is seriously flawed and a supplemental EIS will likely be required. Again, you're an involved agency on these applications for potentially over 2 million square feet of industrial space. I can't even begin to address the development in DC1, DC3, the TOD, cannabis and firearms sales, and the firearms training facilities. But let's circle back to the beginning. You're considering extending the solar moratorium when there are no current or pending applications, and yet code amendments and applications affecting zoning use districts across our entire town, thousands of acres, are just moving right along without any meaningful review, most requiring either a site-specific or a generic impact statement. There's something very wrong with this picture. When a solar moratorium was first proposed in 2020, I and others urged you to consider, and you heard again this evening, consideration on reworking the language to make the moratorium a broader one and a much more worthwhile effort. To paraphrase some of those comments, although the moratorium is designed to address the proliferation of and commercial solar facilities in Calverton, please also consider that the town has received a myriad of other applications for industrial development projects in the same hamlet, which brings the possibility of significant environmental impacts collectively can redefine the character of the community. This was said 2 years ago. We now have a proliferation of additional kinds of, or additional number of applications. Again, paraphrasing, perhaps it makes sense to consider a broader focus on the moratorium to include all industrial zones within the Calverton hamlet, to re-examine the need for a significant amount of land actually zoned industrial, and to evaluate the permitted uses within these districts, working together with the town board and its hired consultants. In October of the following year, you did indeed adopt that moratorium. And just like today, there are no new currently pending solar applications. Nothing has changed.
The language of the code actually says that the planning department can't accept any applications. I'm sure they have had inquiries.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
The language of the code says that the planning department shall not accept any applications. So there couldn't be anything pending.
Okay, I didn't know if there was anything pending. Yes,
And I know this is true, I don't know how many, but there have been additional proposals.
Okay, I was not aware of that because we don't always see the applications if they're in pre-submission conference or anything like that.
Well, the application never came in because they can't accept it.
That's wonderful.
So no
Okay, terrific. All I'm saying is that we have no applications and we're considering extending a moratorium, and I'm not saying that's good, bad, or ugly. I think we should extend the moratorium, but we have a myriad of applications percolating, GEISs, EISs potential. on a load of activity, and we're just sort of watching things go through the process. I only have one paragraph longer left. When I said nothing has really changed, actually, there is something that has changed. We don't even now have consultants for the comprehensive plan any longer. We should stop reacting to development proposals and writing codes to accommodate applications that are being submitted, especially those which are inconsistent with our current comprehensive plan. There is certainly no consideration being given to comments received from this community over the past 2 years, including today. The town is not planning, it is reacting, and it's enabling development without proper review while turning a deaf ear to the people who actually live here, who are asking you to please stop and take a breath while we all still can. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time and attention.
Thank you.
Barbara, as you know, you and I spoke, and I did request for a supplemental report to be done on the HK Ventures, and that is being processed.
I appreciate that. I guess I should just ask you to take a look at the meeting, because it was very disturbing how it all came down that way, and that document was accepted the way it was after a lot of things were brought to everyone's attention. So I very much appreciate your intercession on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara.
Eric, can we do
Good afternoon.
5 minutes?
Kathy McGraw from Northville. My mother was born and raised in Riverhead. I've owned property here for 45 years. I love this place. I'm not a developer looking to make money. I'm a homeowner and nothing more. Over the last 10 years, since my fortunate retirement, I've paid increased attention to town government and development. There have been some incredible changes in Riverhead and many more on the way. Town government is designed to serve the people of Riverhead. The planning department oversees land management for the town. It works for the town, not for developers. Yet watching many town board and planning board meetings, I've observed a disturbing trend. I do believe if a stranger were to tune in to or watch a site plan presentation to the town or to the planning board, the stranger might believe that the planning department employee presenting the site plan represented the applicant, not the town. There always seems to be a push to find a way to approve the plan, overcome obstacles, and never discourage the applicant. Most recently, an applicant for a battery storage project was told such a use is not permitted under the zoning code. Yet the planning department went ahead and accepted a proposed site plan for review. Why? In fact, the planning department even let the site plan go before the planning board, belatedly calling it just a public information session. Really? If the town needs an information session on this new use, shouldn't it come from a disinterested expert source and not from a developer who has a financial interest in establishing such a facility in this town? We're all acutely aware that the 2003 comp plan is out of date and in desperate need of an update. In 2003, who knew about battery storage facilities, anaerobic digesters, and solar farms? So the planning department's been working for 2+ years with AKRF on an update, but whoops, due to lack of progress, AKRF has been fired. To get this done as quickly as possible, to move on with the comp plan, you, the town board, met with 3 consulting firms. But unfortunately, prior to the meeting, the planning department failed to provide the firms with the work product of AKRF. Hard for those consultants to prepare bids and be ready without that information. Meanwhile, the town is swamped with project proposals, including multiple large warehouse projects in Calverton that do not comply with the current zoning code. Certainly, to my surprise, and I think maybe to yours as well. On September 9th at a work session, the Planning Department presented a proposed change in the zoning code and the TDR program that will allow developers to build 50 feet high rather than 30 feet high by buying TDRs. You were told the developers are all in on this plan because they will get the space they need for 1/3 the cost of additional land they would need to buy to, if they were limited by the 30-foot height. It's a huge windfall for them, with the added benefit of lower property taxes since they don't have to buy more property. I know nothing, I'm not a TDR person. This may be a great change to the TDR program, and I saw many of you indicate that you believe it is, and it may very well be. But why did the Planning Department work with the developers on this plan before coming to the town board? The Planning Department works for you, not the developers. This change requires revision of the zoning code and the TDR program, which is a very complicated thing. Aren't these changes exactly the kind of thing the updated comp plan is supposed to examine and study? It's called a comprehensive plan for a reason. It looks at the town as a whole, not piecemeal as is happening right now. You wisely put the brakes on solar farms a year ago and extended that moratorium today, or plan to, so that the comp plan can be completed. Why not do the same for all these pending projects, which also require updates to the zoning code and the TDR plan? What is the rush, as Cindy asked? Yes. Why spend valuable dollars on a comp plan update if these changes are all done piecemeal prior to the update? We need a moratorium on these projects so you, the town government, not the developers, decide what is best for this town. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Kathy, just to address two things that you mentioned, in regards to the consultants not having the information, they received it 2 days after they met with us. So there was no real delay process there. The second thing I want to mention is the TDR plan for the added height in the buildings wasn't discussed with the developers. It was discussed right here in code revision. So I don't know where you're getting your information from, but it's incorrect.
Well, Mr. Murphy did say that the developers were all in on it.
Yeah, I think
The
what he
developers were
meant,
spoken
they
to
were
it after
told
we
they were
devised
thinking about
what we
Oh,
devised
okay,
during
I was
revision.
unaware of that,
They
thank
were
you.
being made aware of what was coming their way because they weren't gonna be able to build without doing this.
Okay,
So
but,
don't
but I,
paint it as something
okay,
different.
okay,
Paint it as what it is.
I accept that and I appreciate your telling me that. But I still think it should be a part of the comprehensive plan. It shouldn't be done now. You need to look at the whole program in the town of Riverhead, not just for, you're creating new receiving zones.
Let us not forget too, that the 2003 comprehensive plan pointed us in a lot of these directions that we're now faced with today. So yes, we couldn't, in 2003, they couldn't understand an anaerobic digester and a battery storage plant. I understand that, but a lot of these things have funneled the warehouses to Calverton because of that 2003 comp plan. So we need to address it with the comp plan, but in the meantime, we can't stop all business in the town of Riverhead because it's not there. Certain things I totally support. I support solar farms, I support the anaerobic digester, and I support the battery cell storage plants to be held off until we address it in the comp plan. But I'm not looking to do a townwide moratorium on everybody taking a breath because we can't operate that way.
Well,
And we shouldn't operate that way as a town.
It sure would make sense with respect to all these warehouses, because this is a change to the TDR program. And the TDR program is a very complicated one and needs very careful study, and I think should be a part of the comp plan,
It
not
is going
done.
to be part of the comp plan,
Absolutely.
but this is something that has come up now in the immediate time now, that if we didn't do anything now, they would come in, they would build the height, and they wouldn't have to pay anything.
Why would they build the
So now
height?
we're rewarding our farmers as they should have been rewarded, because they got beat up badly when the farmland was rezoned.
But why would they build the height? They would need a variance from the zoning board, and why would the zoning board give them a variance?
Zoning board has the permission to do that. They
Why,
have the
why would
authority
they? They
do
have
that.
to look at the impact, and Mr.
And
Murphy.
they should, I agree with
And
you,
Mr.
they
Murphy
should.
talked about how going up 20 more feet will make a huge visual impact. And if you start granting those variances piecemeal, you are making a mess of Calverton.
It's not being granted piecemeal. It's being done by the TDR code that we just discussed.
And can I just add, Kathy, you made, just so you know, the TDR code has been trying to get changed for over a decade, number one. Number two, it was well studied on how to do this. The formula actually comes out from one of the people that we are considering to do our comp plan. They did it in another part of the state. Excuse me, we also worked with the TDR committee on this, who's been working on this for decades.
Richie
okay?
Wines.
And so this is not something that's willy-nilly and just pulled out of the air. I just want you to know that.
Okay, and I appreciate that, but you're also paying consultants who know about TDR plans. Why are you taking it on yourselves when you are about to pay people in a comp plan to study and deal with this
Tim's
very
point,
thing?
I'll tell you why. To Tim's point, these people, to the 2003 plan, have the right to do what they're doing. If the zoning board decides, okay, they determine, oh, you can go 40 feet or 50 feet, guess what? And that TDR code is not in place, it doesn't help us preserve farmland, period. Does that make sense to you?
Yes,
What
that
would you
does.
do? What would you do?
That makes sense to me, but what I would do is put a halt to these projects until you look at the zoning code and the TDR with the help of the consultants and the comp plan, because you need to look at what's happening throughout the town, not just Calverton. That's the way I would view it.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Chip, do we have anyone else?
Eric, you really got to take this in 5 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know, what you got away from it? I guess you're not in the mood today.
John McAuliffe from Roanoke Landing in Riverhead. We're having almost a philosophic discussion about how the town should be developed and what stage we're in general about the warehouse plans. I want to focus, I have 3 things I want to raise with you. And the first, I want to focus very specifically with what is sitting directly in front of you. You aren't noticing it because it's in front of you, but it's the flag from Ukraine. And it is placed there presumably in solidarity with the people of Ukraine as they resist Russian aggression and hegemonism. But I think that you need to relook at the HK Ventures project in particular because of what has happened in history in the last 6 months. You know, and it was reported in the News Review, that the principal for HK Ventures is a man named Arik Kislin. In 2020, September 15th, 2020, the News Review wrote, "The FBI indicated that historical law enforcement information indicates that Kislin handles large-scale investments within the United States for wealthy members of EOC, which stands for Eurasian Organized Crime, and that Kislin's activities focus on laundering EOC profits from overseas." Now, that was an article that appeared in 2020, in September 2020. And one can argue about the significance of the Russian mafia at that point in simple criminal terms and corruption terms, but now I think you also have to think about it in terms of the overwhelming sentiment in Riverhead and in the
country that we want to do everything we can to try to frustrate Russian aggression in Ukraine. So that's on that particular point. I raised the same issues at the planning board and was basically ruled out of order that they weren't prepared to consider that. The other question I wanted to ask about is I wish that WRIV would offer transcripts or at least recordings of their interviews with political figures in town. And this may or may not be a correct description of it, and that's why I want to ask it. But I was told that, Madam Supervisor, that in your interview a couple of weeks ago, that you said that 555 had submitted an application to the IDA. Was that a correct report, and what application did they succeed, and how does?
We don't have it yet, but I was informed that they did by the attorney, actually. I had no further conversations. He just called me, said, by the way, we submitted the application. There's a whole process with the IDA. As you know, it's an independent board, and they have to, it has to be a completed application.
But how can they submit an application by themselves?
Well, they gave copies to our CDA. I have not seen it, and it has to be complete. It can't be an application that they come in at the end and say, okay, this is what we intend to do, and none of the studies, relevant studies have been completed. The two town attorneys, Anne Marie Prudenti and Dawn Thomas, is charged with that, and they're the ones that contact the CDA. Once the application is complete, they're going to give it to the board, and we can say, according to the IDA, this is all the requirements that they dictate have been met, and then we're going to review the application. And I think, Anne Marie, you had some questions? You had
Yeah, I
something
just
to add?
wanted to state, it's been a working document.
It is a working.
It's been a working document back and forth.
Exactly.
So it's not yet final. Dawn and I actually made a phone call about 3 hours ago because we think it is ready to be finalized. And we contacted the attorney for 555, wanting a full and complete set so we can have a review and make sure it reflects all those points or explanations or definitions that we put in with respect to the parcels we're retaining.
Right.
So-
And once all that's done, the application is
Correct.
considered complete, and we will get a copy of it, and the board will look through it, and there will be an open process. There'll be similar to a qualified eligible hearing. The public will be called, and they can add to it, and it will be on Zoom, you can come in person. So the process, we have until September 24th.
It doesn't come to the town board, though, does it? It
Yeah,
comes to
we'll
the
get it.
IDA board.
Yeah, and the town, we're making a joint application.
Yeah, Dawn and I are gonna, if we're satisfied that it's complete, and we hopefully will receive it tomorrow, we're gonna review it and share it with the town board. Ultimately, it's the IDA
That's what I
who's
was
gonna
getting at.
determine whether
Yes.
it's complete.
Yes.
So the fact that you receive it, and it may be signed off on as our part of the application, does not translate into IDA determination of completeness, just to be clear.
But the town,
Sorry, I always,
The town
to
and-
share the mic with you.
Emily, the town and CAT makes a joint application.
Correct.
And the IDA determines if it is complete.
That's correct.
Well, then, to clarify, did 555 submit a partial application?
Yes.
Or so they went ahead and did something without waiting until
we'll
it had
have
gone
Anne Marie.
through the,
It's not complete, John.
but then why did they submit it to the IDA?
Because there was pre-submission meetings, and sometimes they did go through a pre-submission.
All right, it just sounds like they're jumping the gun. I mean,
They're
their
not.
latest,
Would you let Anne
Yeah,
Marie
sure.
speak before you jump the gun?
So I don't think they're jumping the gun.
Yeah.
I think, the application process has numerous components that really the onus is on CAT to satisfy, not the town, because when you look at, quote, the intended use of the town's 5 parcels, it's fairly easy for us on the town So for them, John, what we've been going back and forth with is those elements in the IDA application that they need to fully respond to, which includes and incorporates the town's information. So, I mean, that's all I can tell you. We've been going back and forth.
Has this 555 application to IDA been published on the town board website?
It's not final,
filed yet.
John.
It's not filed yet.
It's not final. You can't publish something.
But then why did they, I'm frankly very confused that they're submitting something that's not actually come through the town process. The latest, I don't know if you saw it, but the latest PR blitz from 555, again, a glossy, they talk about a public-private partnership. I think the private is dominant in this, the public is secondary, which is the way 555 has functioned all over the country. So I'd say prepare to have your pockets picked. Any rate, that's the latest, and I hope what the supervisor said as far as this coming up for public discussion before it is finalized is where we go, because I think it's not just the specific elements, but also the overall legal formula as to how this is being transferred and what the consequences are long-term. But, I've said that before, and other people feel that. The second point I wanted to, or the third point I wanted to ask about was also brought up earlier, which is the development plan, the comprehensive plan, which obviously there's both financial and other costs about what's happened. I mean, one question is, have you now gotten all of the data from the previous?
John, and that's a good question, because I didn't have a chance to ask Jeffrey. We met a couple of weeks ago, and they were supposed to, can you come up forward and give us an update, because we need to move on this.
And
Let them have it.
that would be great to get that.
Provided to them 2 days later, John. We met with them on Thursday, and they had the information on Saturday.
No, but it's now in the hands of the town.
Yes.
The town has all of the research that they did, and
No, that's not. You're asking two different things. They haven't provided us with their outcomes yet, okay? They have until Wednesday, I believe, of next week to provide us with their proposals.
I'm not talking about proposal, I'm
They
talking
have all
about the
John, they have
data
all the
that was,
information. They do have all the
The data was
information.
given to them 2 days after they met with us.
but the
Why'd you let Jeff speak?
The town now has
John,
all
John,
of the.
let him speak, and maybe
Oh,
he'll
yes,
clarify.
The town had it 2 days,
Gotta go
the
to
town
5
had it
minutes.
before this.
Yes, I know, Eric, I don't know why we're not.
Yes,
doing
we,
this.
the website was up and operating by the end of the next day. Thank you to Chip. So the consultants got the access and link to the website that weekend. The other thing we did is that all the files that AKRF had produced, it was such a large volume of information, we created actually a Dropbox and gave that link for that Dropbox to all the 3 consultants. So we have the information, all 3 consultants have the information, and as Tim pointed out, we granted an extension from this Friday till the end of next Wednesday
Right.
for them to submit responses to us.
Okay, and after that, the entire board will get it, and then we can make a decision. We'll all review it, and it'll be quick. So, thank you. So it's coming to a fruition very soon,
Okay,
John.
I appreciate that it's an important step in this
Oh, absolutely.
development of the new consultant, but I was concerned that we actually have our property back, and you're telling me we have, that the raw data and everything that was done on our behalf is now in the hands of the town again. So that's great, thank you.
Okay. Chip, anyone through Zoom? Huh? No? Okay, no problem. Hi, back.
I just wanted to make the board aware, I'm hoping that someone in the building is aware of the guidance document on TDR that is available at the Department of State's website. It's a very helpful document and contains the following language. I'm certainly not going to read the whole thing, but there are excerpts here that are very important to put on the record out for everyone to hear. We're talking about a TDR program that is contemplating as receiving areas Industrial A and Industrial C properties, a couple of hundred acres. Receiving districts are areas where the development rights are to be transferred. Great care must be taken with their designation. Transfer will necessarily result in an increase in the density or intensity of the development in the receiving areas, which means that municipal services must be available to support it. Consequently, there must be an awareness of the potential impact of such development. The statute, and by way, the town law that applies to this, 261A parentheses 2-A is where the statute on TDR is in state law. Quote, every receiving district shall be found by the municipal governing body, that's you, after evaluating the effects of potential increased development in those hundreds of acres, which is possible under the transfer of development rights provisions to contain adequate resources, environmental quality, public facilities, including adequate transportation, water supply, fighting the fires a little bit higher with the water pressure, waste disposal, they say fire protection, and there will be no significant environmentally damaging consequences, and such increased development is compatible with the development otherwise permitted, blah, blah, blah. That's in the statute itself. Great deal of careful thought and planning is called for in designating sending and receiving districts. It goes on to say, before development rights can be transferred, the government must do some very important planning work. It's essential that the districts are carefully thought out. I said that already. Substantial review of the environmental impact of future proposed projects must occur. It also says, by statute, that a GEIS is required. It says it by statute. There are other very important and pertinent excerpts from this. I won't bore you with them here. I will, if you'd like, send you a copy of this. As I said, I'd be surprised if no one has seen this yet. It's Transfer Development Rights, Government of Local Services, Department of State, updated 2021, specifically on the Transfer of Development Rights program. I was intimately involved, as you know, the first time around. It was a novel program. In fact, they talk about Riverhead's program in here. You'll be happy. It's actually in very positive terms. Could it be improved? Absolutely. Was it something that was totally unique at the time? Yes. Nobody had converted residential dwelling units to a commercial component. Nobody had done that before. We did that. We took what turned out to be somewhat not of as effective number as possible, but nonetheless, we still preserved a couple of hundred acres. I am totally for reworking the TDR program, but you can't just do it because now is the time to do it without proper planning and evaluation of the potential, if all, that's how you have to look at it, whether all of the lands in those two zoning use districts could be developed that way, what would the impact be? That's how you do an impact statement, and that's what's required according to the statute in town law. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Barbara.
John McAuliffe again, and sorry, there was no response to my question about HK Ventures and whether you would reconsider it. I want to read one other paragraph from the news review story, and I know it will not be received with joy that I'm raising it, but the story went on to say, while the New York businessman's involvement in the project had not previously been disclosed publicly, his name does appear in a financial disclosure report filed last month by the Riverhead Town Republican Committee. This is 2 years ago, the previous cycle. The report shows Mr. Kislin, on behalf of HK Ventures, made a maximum allowable $5,000 contribution to the committee on July 1st. Now, that's part of American politics. I know how American politics works, that people who have interest in decisions by local governments or the national government make contributions to candidates. But I think that this is a particularly serious moment, and I'd wonder whether you will reconsider and put a halt to the HK Ventures project.
Okay, anybody want to comment? No? Thank you.
Okay.
Chip, anybody
The
on the?
record is clear.
No one there? Anyone from the audience? Okay, so thank you, everyone. This concludes our meeting. Can I have a first and a second to close this town board meeting, please? All in favor? All opposed? So moved. Please be safe.